Hello, my name is Sean and this is Cruise Through Life. Today we're going to talk about 10 cruise essentials for first-time cruisers and 10 things you should leave at home. The items on this list are things that seasoned cruisers don't even need to think about packing or leaving at home. Item number 1 is a day bag. This can be a beach bag, a backpack, duffel bag, whatever floats your boat, really. But you need something to carry around your beach towel, souvenirs, and anything else you may need or want for your day at your port of call. I personally like this Zomake packable book bag. It's ultralight, has plenty of space for anything you need to carry, and when it's not in use, it collapses into a small pouch that is easy to pack into your luggage and doesn't take up a ton of space. Item number 2 on our list is a collapsible water bottle. Bottled water on cruise ships is expensive, and while some lines do allow you to bring on a limited amount of bottled water on embarkation day, not all do, and it's not going to be enough to last you for your entire cruise if you drink more than a bottle a day or have multiple people staying in your cabin. The good news is you can take a collapsible water bottle with you and fill it up at the drink stations or from the sink in your cabin. These are nice because if you take them off the ship when it's empty, you can collapse it down and throw it in your day bag, and it takes up much less space than a full bottle. I like this one from Butail. It collapses easily, but there are many options out there. Item number 3 is a cruise lanyard or card holder. When you are on board, everything is done through your cruise card, or some lines have wearables, but it's mostly cards. Now, these cards do everything from get you access to your cabin, to allow you to make purchases in the duty-free stores, to getting drinks at the bar, so it's very, very important that you keep this with you on your cruise. I personally like to use a lanyard for this. I know exactly where my card is, and the lanyard I use has one of those retractable cables, so I can use that to easily open my door without having to take the card out of the pouch or take the lanyard off my neck. It's nice and easy. Some people, though, don't like the lanyards. They feel they're tacky or a hassle. What if they forget it in the room when they leave? So they prefer to use a card pouch on the back of their phone. Since we're all used to always carrying our phones with us, we are much less likely to leave it in our cabin or somewhere around the ship. Item number 4 is how I personally deal with not forgetting my cruise lanyard, and that is magnet hooks. I love these little things. The walls in cruise ship cabins are almost always magnetic, so you can pop one of these little hooks on the wall right next to your door or on the back of your door and hang your lanyard from it. This way, you always see it when you're about to leave your cabin. Magnet hooks are also great for hanging up wet bathing suits or storing things other than your lanyard, like the day bag from earlier on in the list. Item number 5 is a hanging toiletry bag. I'm not going to lie, this thing is pretty great. It has multiple pockets to help keep everything organized, and they are clear plastic so you can see where everything is. You also don't really have to unpack this and have things floating around all over your tiny cabin bathroom. Just take out what you need when you need it and then put it back. Now, one thing about these is they can get heavy, and the magnet hooks may say that 50 pounds is the limit, but that is really their max weight before they straight fall off the wall. But the practical weight of them holding things in place before sliding down is much lower. So something you can do is to hang it from the ceiling instead of the wall, and this works really well. Item number 6 is a travel adapter. Cruise cabins don't have a ton of outlets, and if you're on an older ship, you'll be lucky if you have one US outlet and one European outlet, and forget about USB ports. One option to help with that, though, is a travel adapter. I like this universal one. You can pick which port you need and then plug in whatever you have, and it's really a great little option to get you another outlet, so you don't have to choose who gets to charge their phone or whatever device you need. Item number 7 is a small first aid kit. Let's be real here, people get hurt and people get sick, and yes, the ship will have a medical facility if you need it and have a place to buy small first aid things like band-aids, but they are very expensive on board compared to on land, and you're better off just to bring it from home. Also, they have a very limited stock, so if you have a particular brand of medication or product that you like to use, it is not guaranteed to be on the ship. I know no one likes to think about it, but this is one of those things where it's better to pack it and not need it than need it and to have to pay the ship prices. I got this one off Amazon and just added Dramamine to it, and it suits me just fine. Item number 8 is towel bands or towel clips. Now, it may not always feel like it, but you are on a moving ship that's actually going at a pretty decent speed, and it can get windy up on the Lido deck by the pool, and you don't want your towel blowing off your chair or maybe even off the ship. So you can use towel bands or towel clips to hold it onto your chair. I personally prefer towel bands. They're smaller to pack, and I just think they're easier, but You can get some pretty cool and unique towel clips to help you remember which chair and towel are yours, while the bands are fairly generic. Item number 9 is a non-surge protected power strip. Similar to number 6 with the travel adapter, you can use a non-surge protected power strip to give you more outlets in your cabin. It is important to note though that Royal Caribbean has banned multi-plug outlets, but they do allow for USB hubs. So if you're sailing on Royal, make sure to take a USB hub instead of a multi-plug outlet. As of right now, the other cruise lines are still allowing them, but always check before you leave for your cruise with your specific cruise line. Number 10 is sunscreen. It seems pretty obvious, right? Especially if you're going to the Bahamas or Caribbean, but it's also super important in Alaska. Even though it isn't as warm there, you can still easily get a burn. The first cruise I ever took, I forgot to take sunscreen, and I sat on the top deck for several hours reading a book on a sea day, and that was the worst sunburn I've ever had, and I will not be making that mistake again. It was towards the end of my cruise, so it didn't completely ruin my vacation, but it wasn't fun for a while there afterwards. This wraps up our 10 cruise essentials for first-time cruisers. I have left links to all of the items in this first list down below in the description. These aren't affiliate links or anything, I just really like these products. Here in a bit we are going to get to the items that you can leave at home, but first, if you are enjoying this video, please subscribe to my channel with the notification bell turned on and all that other YouTuber stuff. We all know the spill, right? Now let's talk about things that first-time cruisers may think that they need, but really don't. This can help you cut down on packing and save you space for souvenirs. Item 1 is towels. The cruise line will provide you with towels of all sorts for everything you may need on or off the ship. There is usually a towel station near the pool, and you can take these off the ship if you have a beach day planned or a wet excursion. Just be aware that they are usually keeping track of your room number, and if you don't return the towels, you may be charged for them. Item number 2 is a hairdryer. Every cruise cabin I have ever stayed in has had a small hairdryer. They're not the best, but they get the job done, so unless you're particular about it, you can leave yours at home. Another interesting note is these are not usually stored in the bathrooms. It's usually tucked away in a drawer in the vanity in the cabin area itself. Item number 3 is too many clothes or shoes. You're probably going to spend the majority of your time in comfortable clothes and swimwear. Overpacking is a common rookie mistake. You do not need 10 collared shirts, 12 slacks, and a tux for a 5-night cruise. You're on vacation, no one is going to notice or care if you recycle an outfit for dinner. In general, you only need 3 pairs of shoes for a cruise, a pair of sandals or flip-flops for by the pool or on the beach, a pair of nicer shoes for dinner, and a pair of sneakers for more active excursions or just a day walking around in a port of call. Item 4 that you can leave at home is bottled water. Like I said earlier, most cruise lines do allow you to bring a limited amount of water on board, but the ship does have safe filtered water available for free, so I encourage you to bring that refillable water bottle instead, so that this can help to cut down waste on board and the weight of things you have to carry on board, as that does have to be in your carry-on luggage. Item number 5 is an iron or steamer. Not only do you not need to bring it on board, but it is also on the banned list of every cruise line because it is a fire hazard. If you try to bring this on board, it will be confiscated. An alternative option, if you need to get the wrinkles out, is something like Downy Wrinkle Release Spray. You can also hang your clothes in the bathroom while you take a shower, and the steam will help to get those wrinkles out. Item number 6 is a large first aid kit. You do not need a large first aid kit that has every single over-the-counter medication in the pharmacy. You should take a small first aid kit. Like I said earlier in the list, add some of your preferred over-the-counter medications to it, and you should be fine with that. But do please make sure to bring any prescription medications along with a few extra days worth just in case of delays. Item 7 is snorkeling gear. Unless you're a hardcore snorkeler, you can leave this at home. Most excursions provide snorkeling gear, or if you're having a beach day, rentals are fairly easy to find. I must admit, however, that this is one thing that I actually take with me, but mine is less of being a hardcore snorkeler and more about being a germaphobe. I don't know who used that last, or even if it was cleaned, and while I'm sure it was, especially if you're with a reputable tour operator, I just can't get past that. Item 8 is beach chairs. Like with snorkeling gear, most ports and beaches have rentals, and some lines provide chairs on the private islands, and some you have to rent, but they are fairly easy to find and very hard to pack in a suitcase, so it's best to just leave this at home. Item 9 is pool or beach floats. While you are on board, you will not be able to use any floats in the pool, and most beaches have rentals should you want one. This is another thing I have to admit I am guilty of taking. I have an inflatable hammock chair float that, when not inflated, it packs down very small and doesn't take up much room at all in my luggage, so I do take this along. Item 10 is full-sized shampoo and conditioner bottles. Unless you're picky, the provided toiletries in the cabin are usually good enough for the time you are on board. If you are picky, you can bring travel-sized versions to save space in your luggage. If you're driving to your port instead of flying, you can technically bring full-sized containers, as cruise ships do not follow the same liquids restrictions as airplanes, but unless you're doing a very long cruise, the travel size will be just fine. This wraps our list of 10 cruise essentials for first-time cruisers and 10 items that you don't need to bring. If you're not a first-time cruiser, do you bring anything on the list that you don't need? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you on board sometime soon.